Good afternoon on what is a mild grey and cloudy day. It is Monday, June the 9th. I'm in there reading up with a nice hot cup of tea. And a box to continue unboxing. What I've got in here is a copy of 10 Mistakes That Changed History by Paul Coulter, The Reckless Rulers, Monumental Mishaps and Disastrous Decisions That Have Shaped Our World. Which is based upon the smash hit live show 5 Mistakes That Changed History. So this is a sort of another one of those books that has come out of podcasts and that sort of thing. We all make mistakes, but rarely do they change the course of human history. From breakups that ended empires to the naps that sank ships, 10 Mistakes That Changed History is the hilarious retelling of some of the greatest episodes in the story of humankind. Look at many of the biggest characters and events of the last 2,500 years, from Cleopatra to the sinking of the Titanic. Historian and comedian Paul Coulter explores how, despite the glamour, entourages and deity-sized egos, historical turning points are often the result of very human errors. Blending history, storytelling and comedy, 10 Mistakes That Changed History is history as you wish you had learned it back at school, the greatest hits of bad leadership, decisions, misguided acts of heroism and catastrophic lapses of judgment. These are the stories that have shaped our world, all with monumental consequences. Because sometimes it's nice to know that no matter how bad your day is, the greatest names in history stuffed up too. So this is a sort of book that you can pop into and read different sections of. So there's the table of contents, giving you a hint of who or what is in here, complete with epilogue. So, introduction, we all make mistakes, and in many cases we know these people because they're famous. And we quickly get down to the first one, Alexander the Great, the greatest of all Alexanders. So, yeah, we've got a map, the famous map of his conquests and routes. So just looking forward to see what else in here. Question of who was the real Alexander and what happened upon his death. And continuing with the ancient world, we move more up to the end of basically the almost close to the beginning of the Christian era, as they say, with Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt. And essentially her disastrous relationship with Rome. Again, comes down to a case of sort of picking winners, or in her cases, infamous lovers and losers. There's a map of her world. And effectively, what it points out is she's just made the wrong pick of a boyfriend, I suppose. Eleanor of Aquitaine, and that's going to be interesting. There we go. You know, who was she? Because there have actually been several Eleanor of Aquitaines. He was born in, let's have a look, 1124. This is the time at the time of the First Crusade. And it gets to the point where somebody's got to play Cupid for her, and that includes, in this case, the Pope. Yeah, basically she does have the last laugh though. Success is the best revenge. And of course we've got Ferdinand Magellan, famous for his attempts to explore the world and actually finally sail around the world, circumnavigate the world for the first time, or being the first person to do it. Yes, there's a bit of a play on words here. Yes, they'll be sailing through the Magellanic Straits. And there's a complete map of his travels. Then we move on to Napoleon Bonaparte, and would be an interesting side note to see what would have happened if he had not invaded Russia. So yeah, that was his big mistake in 1812. And certainly staying in Moscow too long. And yeah, this is not a retreat. No, it's definitely a retreat. And then you can see Europe at the time and the routes taken. Anyway. And leap on another 100 years to Titanic and the disaster that it was, with essentially poor design and rushed in its construction. And there's final sinking, and then we even leave on just a couple of years after that, because the disasters now become thick and furious with the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, which would trigger the First World War. At the hands of the world's worst assassins, and the decision essentially that went wrong here was the driver took to turn around. Whether or not a World War I would have happened is debatable, or something similar. And again, that's another thing for your alternate history. Alexander Fleming, and this was actually probably a very good one, because out of it came penicillin and it's essentially world's first general antibiotics. Sadly, Amelia Earhart, fascinating character, but sadly lost on her attempt to fly around the world. It'd be interesting to see how the author approaches her loss. And most recently, Apollo 13. And the near disaster that could have been. I mean, interestingly, that actually renewed interest in spaceflight, because hey, Apollo 11, Apollo 12, been to the moon twice. Do we need to really talk about that very much? Then we've got epilogue talking about the disasters, and you can have a whole more book about disasters. But we've got a nice list here of what to read next on these subjects. So, interesting bibliography. Then we've got the acknowledgements. author's blurb in the book, and on the inside back cover. So that is 10 mistakes that changed history, which I'm actually going to give as a gift to my father for Father's Day. So I thought I'd do an unboxing of it beforehand. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box containing a typically book or game or role-playing supplement or scenario, in this case a book about history and its failures, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing video. I will be back again tomorrow with another one. Bye for now.